Welcome. We are back from our break. We are here now for Adamus, once again for Shoud 6. And this is very exciting. And we're going to do some breathing. And once we transition from the breathing to some music, we want you to know that this is a very special video that was created by our staff based on last month's Shoud about the breakdown of the nervous system. And the name of this special creation is Stop Now, Let Everything Catch Up. But now, let's start with that conscious breath. Get comfortable wherever it is that you're sitting, lying, laying down, whatever you want, and take that good deep breath, that breath of life, that breath, feeling and allowing presence. Feel into all that you are. Flow with the air, the energy. It's all just your energy. Breathe in honor of yourself. Breathe and allow your consciousness to glow. You are all that you are. Breathe it. Be it. Take that good deep breath. Oh, Adamus is here for us. Breathe him in. He always invites it. Breathe him in. Feel him. He's there, always. Simply breathe it. Be it. Take that good deep breath. Truly, breathing into the soul of you. The I am that I am. I exist. Breathe. Breathe and flow, allowing for all.
Let me catch up. You've been running on a brittle wire, laughing through a nervous fire. You say you're fine, but I feel the strain. Your body whispering, soft with pain. You don't have to hold it. You don't have to prove. You don't have to push another move. Stop now, my love. Lay it down. Let the silence come around. You've gone so far. You've gone too fast. Let everything catch up at last. Let your nerves unwind and hush. Let your heart come back from the rush. Stop now, my love. Let everything catch up to you. You've been fighting ghosts of time, trying to make the broken shine. Perfume on what still hurts, smiling through the spinning worlds. No more proving, no more chase. Come back home to this one place. Stop now, my love. Lay it down. Let the quiet be your ground. You've gone ahead of breath and gone. Let your body find its own. Let the brittle turn to rain. Let the softness come again. Stop now, my love. let everything catch up to you. You don't fix a storm by shouting at the sky. You don't heal the sea by asking why. Just stop and let me reach you. Spawn now, my lover, you are safe. Nothing here you have to chase. Time will bend and light will slow. All that you are will gently flow. No more racing through the blue. I am right here coming to you. Stop now, let everything catch up to you. Stop now, my
I am that I am. Adamus of very sovereign domain. Welcome, dear Shambra. When the music video was playing, I was busy feeling it all into all the energies. I didn't have to gather them up. You're gathering yourself up, but I was busy just feeling into the field that we're creating right here. You, of course, have your own field, your own energy. You're a sovereign being. You forget about it sometimes, but you're truly a sovereign being. And then that field can create relational fields, whether it's with another person, whether it's with a group of people, and in this case, with all Shambra, as we gather here on this day. Take a moment to feel into your field, and then the relational field. Not a mental thing. It's a feeling. And there's a huge difference. Huge difference. You don't, it's right away I could feel you going into the thinking mode. No, the feeling mode is taking a deep breath and going back to your origins, your natural state of being, where you are a very sensual being, a sentient being, and not just a mental being. So you take a deep breath and you feel into your field without definition. And then you feel into the field that we're creating with everyone watching right now, live, everyone who will watch in the future. They're part of the field. And even a part of that field is all the previous Shouds. Part of the field is Tobias, Katumi, Dr. Argoni, all of that. You feel into the field and you see if it's mental. If you go into a mental feeling into the field, it's really thinking into the field. When it gets confusing, that's when you know you're being mental, you're not just feeling. And you start thinking of all these names I just mentioned and how clustered and chaotic the field must be. No, that's thinking, and thinking does that. It creates the chaos, the confusion, the layers of complexity. True feeling is very simple. It's very sentient. And it's nothing even that you necessarily want to describe right away. It's a sensation. So let's take a deep breath together now. Feel into your field. That's not your identity. It's really not your identity. The identity is kind of a subset of your field, but it's kind of a somewhat false. It's not really truly who you are. You feel into your field. And there's something very special about it. And again, don't try to put a label on it or definition to it. You just take a good deep breath and let it come to you. You see, don't go to it. Let that sensual feeling come to you. And then into the rest of the field with all the other Shaumbra, with everything else. You take a good deep breath and you feel that. That's such a beautiful, simple feeling, yet full. But it's not the mental thinking. There's such a difference. And that's exactly where we're going right now. That's exactly what we're doing. And we started talking about it a lot in the Merlin event back in September, the Isle of New Sentience. And now we're actually getting there. And now we actually are making that transition into the true intelligences. We're making that transition. Not that kind of intelligence. We're making the transition into the true intelligence. And what I want to do today with this shout, maybe a little less talking than normal, maybe a little longer marab, but now moving into the practical part of it. And the practical part is manifestation. Not just some lofty concepts, not the esoteric discussions, but actually now what happens on a practical level. And you know, I do feel into Shaumbra all the time. Where you're going. Last month, during the shout, I said, I was going to go in one direction and suddenly changed. Yeah, I actually had planned that we were going to push a little bit more. All the time, pretty aware of what was going on with you. And it was Dr. Agoni and Kuthumi had said, let's just stop and take a deep breath. Stop now. But where we're going now is the practical. And that's the part the human really, really loves, because we've had all these discussions, but how is your life? How's your life? In terms of the metaphysical, where we're going with all this, really taking a lead in it. It's exhilarating. It's fun most of the time. Sometimes not, but it's exhilarating, and you can almost feel that in your field, the leading edge that we're on and what we're doing, and so different than just about anything else. And I'm not saying elitist, but different. Because you have the courage. You're willing to go out there. You've put so many other things behind you. You're willing to go there. But part of the thing is you look at your life and say, but what effect has it had on my external world? What's it all really doing for me? And at a point, you get a little tired of all the esoteric and say, okay, but let's have some changes in my life now. That's the turning point that I want to do today. We don't do it by pushing or demanding or praying or anything like that. No, it's all about, allowing. It's about having the consciousness to recognize that you have the consciousness, you have all the tools, all the relationships, including relationship with your cobot, relationship with other Shaumbra, relationship with me for what it's worth. And now let's turn that corner into the practical part of your life. I think that's so important. It sounds really good, doesn't it? And you say, let's turn the corner, right? Yeah, and it's like, okay, bring it on. But it involves changes. It involves something new coming in, and it involves, I have a big underline on this, it involves the knowingness that you are indeed a creator, and the potential fear that I am a creator. Are you ready to handle it? Are you ready to let that creativity, the creatorship within you come out and have it manifest in life? Of course, everybody said, no, I want it, but it brings up a lot of issues, old issues, about will you make the right choices? What if you create something like a Frankenstein type of monster? What if you create the bad things? What if the old judgments of yourself about, oh, geez, I have this bad stuff inside me and I get these demons, or maybe used to have them, and what if that comes out of my creations? So there's a hesitation, a pause. It's like, I'm not sure if I'm really ready for this. I mean, a few little nice things in my life, but I'm talking about true creatorship and true manifestation. Are you ready for that? So what I want to do right now is to feel into it. Again, you have all the tools that you always have, but now you're beginning to recognize them. You're beginning to recognize things like energy and light and consciousness, all which you had to have an awareness of now to go to that next step into practical manifestation in your life. I want you to feel into that for a moment. You as a creator. Maybe it causes you a little heartburn there, like, oh no, I'm not sure what I want to create, and what if I create the wrong thing? So there's that hesitation, that kind of anxiety, creator anxiety, I'll label it. Because what if you could really, truly create what you choose, not for others, of course. You don't want to get entangled in that. That's like a bad form of witchcraft. Not for others, and that has to be so clearly defined up front. You're creating for you. Others in your energy orbit might be affected by it. Maybe not. Maybe not. It doesn't really matter. But you're creating for you. And it brings up the question: what do you create? What do you create? That's a big one. Do you create something very practical, physical? Do you create more abundance in your life? Or do you create happiness, joy? Do you create deep knowingness? Now, again, there's this tendency that you've all had because of your past lives in particular, but it's like, no, I create a beautiful, peaceful world with no wars. Whoa, just stop right there. That's not for you to determine, and that's not compassion. That's for everybody else to determine what they want. You're not here to try to save the world. Remember, you tried that and it didn't really work so well. You're here to have compassion for everybody, for what they're choosing, but what do you want to create for yourself in your lifetime, right now? I want you to feel into that and don't necessarily try to answer it right now, because you're going to get a wide variety of mental ideas and thoughts and images. And your human identity is going to bounce back and forth. What do I really want? Do I want a dog? Do I want a new romantic relationship? Do I want a lot of abundance? Do I want health? And you're all nodding your head to all of them. Yes, it's like that bobbling head. Yes, I want all those. But I want you to really feel into it. Because as we turn this corner, as you really understand the dynamics of energy and presence, what is it that you want to create? Is it everyday typical stuff? Maybe a better car. Maybe you want to create a school where you teach everything you've learned. And before you do that, just stop and pause. There's good parts and bad parts. But I want you to really feel into it. What do you want to create? Don't answer the question right now. It's part of the homework. We don't usually do homework in Shouds. We reserve that mostly for Kihak and workshops, but that's it. On a practical level, what do you want to manifest in your life? It could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be something very, very practical. But I want you to feel into that. And it's a little bit of a trick question, which I'll come back to later. But for right now, let's take a deep breath into the field that we're creating together. As we get into today's discussion, I want to talk about intelligence. Intelligence. Shambram is a fairly intelligent lot. But by that, I don't mean your IQs. Your IQs are pretty good, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's old intelligence. And that's where humans have been focused for a long time, their mental intelligence. A lot of you are very smart. You have multiple degrees. You've got all these initials behind your names, which nobody knows what they mean. You're very intelligent. Because the reason why you're intelligent from a mental standpoint is because you can comprehend energies pretty well. You feel into a coding of energies. You feel into the not just the mental part of what you're trying to do, but there's another level of feeling which allows you then to understand mathematics a little bit better than most, or science, or languages, or whatever. So you have that level of intelligence. But what I'm talking about is a different type of intelligence. the humans have put human mental intelligence at the top of the pyramid. It's the most important thing. How smart are you? And, how do you do compared to Albert Einstein? Is your IQ above 100? If you're listening, yes, it is. Is it above 120? Probably. 130? Kind of what I call Chamber range. And you go up to 160, probably not. Otherwise, if your IQ is 160, you probably wouldn't be tuning into this. Not because it's because you're too smart. And then you get very mental about everything. Everything is analysis. If you had an IQ at that level. But you're smart enough to be smart, and you're smart enough to also know there's something beyond. There are other forms of intelligence that actually make the human mental intelligence look kind of laughable in a way. I mean, it's important, but it's not that far up there on the hierarchy. It's really not. I'm talking about an intelligence that's built into everything. Everything has intelligence, but not mental. The air that you're breathing right now, with its molecules, its atoms, the air has an intelligence as air. It doesn't think like the human does, but the intelligence is the ability to communicate with air as air. That is an intelligence. Every tree has an intelligence. And even every leaf on the tree has an intelligence. Every molecule within that tree has intelligence. Not mental, but it has the intelligence, the ability to know of itself as a tree. It doesn't call itself that. It doesn't even know how to spell tree, and it can't really write tree. But it has an intelligence that I am this thing. I'm shaped. All my energies are shaped into a tree. I'm this variety of a tree. And again, it doesn't have the mental process to use those words, but yet it intuitively knows itself as that. And it has an intelligence that allows it to uptake water, nutrients. It has an intelligence that allows the leaves to open to the sun and everything that comes with that whole process of converting the sun and the light into energies. It has the intelligence of knowing that it's within a forest with other trees of its kind and of other kinds. It has the intelligence to know that it's time now in the autumn of each year to shed the leaves and let them go, and to go kind of dormant for a while. It has that intelligence. That's what keeps the rhythms of nature moving and working. And it has the intelligence to know that, too, one day it'll die. It doesn't care. It doesn't get all wrapped up, oh, I'm going to die and my branches are going to fall off and everything. Because the intelligence that I'm talking about is very, very different. It's not analytical, logical, like the human mind is. It doesn't worry about the future. Not at all. It has the intelligence to communicate within itself, the knowingness within itself, and to communicate with nature, and when you walk along, to communicate with you. So it's a very intuitive intelligence, and everything has it. The chair you're sitting on right now, it's supporting your butt, has intelligence. Yes, it knows your butt is there, in a way. It knows itself as a chair. It knows itself as the raw materials that it came from in the first place. But again, not on an intellectual, defined basis. It is in just a state of being, and that intelligence is constantly there. Otherwise, the chair wouldn't be there. If there was no intelligence, the kind I'm talking about in a chair, it simply would not exist. So if you extrapolate that a little bit more, the intelligence is also directly related to your observation, your participation. Because if your consciousness wasn't there, the intelligence of the chair wouldn't be there. Nothing would be there. So I'd like you to really feel into that, but not mentally, not in a thought process, but feel into it. That intelligence that's in everything. It's in a glass of water. It's in your cat or your dog. They have an intelligence also. Intelligence is the ability to communicate within self and, when needed, outside of self. Your dog communicating constantly an intelligence that he understands he's a dog or she is a dog. And it's part of the canine world, part of the animal kingdom of the planet. And it's a dog. It has certain hereditary things that happen. The dog doesn't question these things. The dog isn't worried about it. The dog is now then trying to define its own identity. It flows with its inherent identity in the intelligence. Therefore, it's not in conflict with itself. It's only in conflict with itself is when you are in conflict with yourself, because any domesticated pet can feel that, particularly dogs. They're very, very good at that. So they feel your conflict because they are very sentient in that way. They pick up on things. They pick up on thoughts. They don't really care so much about your words, but the energy that's carried in your voice, the energy that's simply a part of you. They pick up on that. And they can sense, they can smell, detect imbalances very, very well. That's why they're there to serve you. They act as a type of mirror. They're particularly good at giving, at being affectionate, at giving back, because that's built into their intelligence. We're here in service. It'd be interesting at some point to talk about the origins of domesticated animals. Yes, and obviously going back to the time of Atlantis, and how certain species, particularly like dogs and cats, became domesticated, were basically invited from the animal kingdom into the human kingdom. And can go back and forth between the two. But they have a very, very good understanding and intelligence of what's going on. Everything has intelligence. Every part of everything in your body, every atom, every cell, the blood, the individual organs, they all have their own state of intelligence. Therefore, the body is constantly communicating with itself, using a very outdated communication network, the niatron. But yet, right now, as you sit there or lay there, there's this constant communication within your body that you don't need to regulate. You just need to feed and breathe, drink some water. But it has an intelligence. As a unified field of your biology, there's an intelligence. And then all the individual parts and pieces have their own intelligence, and they're all singing out right now, rejoicing. A few of them rebelling, but they're singing out and rejoicing. They are biology. And this is the intelligence of the body. Part of that intelligence right now is singing out and rejoicing that it's collapsing. Yeah. The human mind is like, what? It's collapsing. What the hell is happening to me? The body is singing out right now. Feel into that for a moment. Get out of your mind. Feel with your central being the rejoicing that's taking place within that physical body. It's communicating right now. It's communicating its collapse, its ultimate demise. Not the death process, but the transition out of the old human biology into something very, very new right now. It's a process that you're in the midst of. And in all of that, you're feeling the collapse. We talked about it in our last gathering. You're feeling it as a breakdown of the nervous system. And you're trying to compensate for it to a degree which is okay, but you're maybe overcompensating. What's wrong with me? How do I need to fix this? And as I mentioned in our last gathering, then you start taking all these weird medications and everything else. And now you're interfering with a natural process that's taking place, the breakdown of your nervous system. Oh, yes, I know it hurts. It's tough. You feel shot. You feel exhausted. But under the circumstances, what's happening, it's probably appropriate, and it doesn't last forever. In our last gathering, we talked about how the nervous system has just been in overload, overwhelm. There's a lot of external stimulation, and there's a tremendous amount of internal shifting and changing and stimulation that's taking place. And there's nothing wrong at all. Nothing. As it was communicated in the music video, as we opened to the Shoud, stop now, my love. Meaning, stop being like Alice in Wonderland, bouncing off the walls, encountering the demons, encountering the strange objects suddenly coming to life. Stop now, and let it catch up with you. And what's catching up is the transition from a very old type of nervous system, old type of biology, into a very new one. What's really happening right now is a breakdown, a purposeful, intended breakdown of the nervous system so that you can next allow in a very different type of intelligence. Let's take a good deep breath for that and feel into it. Stop now. Just let everything catch up with you. And that includes the collapsing of the old nervous system. It's very, very complex. Very complex. You think about all the nerve endings. You think about all the cells and the molecules, atoms that all take part in it. Think about the tremendous level of constant communications from your biology and its intelligence to the mind with its intelligence. As I said, about 80% of all the communications from your physical body go up to the mind. And then when you feel the mind kind of doesn't care anymore, the mind is like, hey, stop talking, shut up. Then it's very, very disconcerting, very, very uncomfortable. But then you take a deep breath and realize that what's happening right now is the old intelligence of the biology, of the nervous system in particular, is changing. It's collapsing. And collapsing here in this case is a good thing. How long have you wanted a free energy body, your light body? You had glorious thoughts and imaginations about that. You're a light body being, you just float around. And it was a little bit overly stylized, but yet you knew it was there at some level. You felt it. The mind kind of turned it into a little bit of weird fantasy. So you were still very human in your biology, but now it was just glowing all the time. Now, as you get settled in, you start to realize there's something else going on. It's not just suddenly your body lights up. Your body, your old nervous system, your whole body literally collapse. While you're in place, while you're doing everything you're doing in your life, it just suddenly starts to collapse. But yet you can keep going, which is kind of interesting, almost a paradox, yet you keep going. I'd like you to feel into, in a non-mental way, the collapse of the nervous system and the biology and the way that intelligence operated, collapsing. It sounds pretty awful. You don't want to run and call emergency services, call 911 and say, by the way, my nervous system is collapsing, or tell people on the street, but you know what I'm talking about. It was built, this body was built deliberately, and it was then manipulated with something you know as the Atlantean headbands. It was manipulated, not for bad reasons. And that manipulation itself really distorted the intelligence of the body and distorted the body's ability to adapt to consciousness, to changing environments, not the physical environment, but the environment of your consciousness. So that headband kind of locked things in place, and not only did we have the headbands in Atlantis, but you were somewhat directly responsible for them, so you carry an extra burden with that. And that's partly why the nervous system feels shot right now. Part of you wanting to hang on to and maintain that old connection. In spite of the headbands, you know that they held things together. They For a while, they were very beneficial in stabilizing the biological condition of humans. And now that's going away. Now that's collapsing. And now your nervous system is screaming and yelling. Your body hurts. You can't really handle any more stimulation, mental or physical. And you're like, what the hell is happening? And then again, I just, not to beat the point, but I absolutely will beat it to death, is then you try to come up with all these therapies and remedies, and you talk about the vagus system and how you're going to take magnets and stimulate it or electroprobes or whatever. Stop it. Stop it. You're interfering with the natural process right now. One intelligence giving way to another. An intelligence of the biology that was very, very outdated. The human biology should have evolved a lot faster than what it actually did. You're in a very old template right now. It's long overdue, and it's happening right now. Not because you're pushing it or forcing it, not because you're outsmarting your old body, and not because it's being mandated from somewhere else, some galactic council or something like that, or even the master self. You're allowing it, you're experiencing it because it's time. And that's why in our last shout I said, stop. Let everything catch up with you now. Let this whole changeover catch up with you. You're not doing anything wrong other than wondering what's wrong. That's the only thing. What's wrong with me? And but other than that, nothing wrong. This is absolutely the time to stop. To stop. And let everything catch up. What does catch up look like? Well, it's in a bottle. No. What ketchup looks like? Ketchup means that you don't have to interfere with anything at all. You don't have to push anything. You don't have to get counseling. Shambro, you want to irritate me. You want to push my buttons. It's like when you try to over-manipulate everything because you're still working out of an ancient system, a biology of intelligence and of the mind. You're still not understanding true intelligence, not energy, not consciousness. You feel you have to get in there and do all this ceremony, all this therapy, all these other things. Stop it and let everything catch up to you right now. You realize those other things are truly distractions. And they're also the ego of your identity that was carefully developed over a long period of time, but the ego is saying, I have to get in there and I have to fix it, and if I don't, things all go to hell. That's an old form of intelligence that's still trying to manage and control everything, and you don't need it anymore. In the years past, particularly, I would say 2-3 years ago, you were particularly going through a lot in the mind, in your mind, and a kind of a changeover, a collapse of the old mental system. And some of you really struggled with it. Some of you still are, because it's kind of at its waning point of the old intelligence, but it's kind of agreed. Your mind, your mental, has kind of agreed that it went as far as it could. And now it's time to let go. Let a new form of intelligence come in, which we'll talk about in just a moment. The mind hasn't been the battlefield so much anymore. Every once in a while it'll pop back up and you go through all the mental stuff, but now it's your body, your nervous system. And there's a tendency to get in there, to interfere with it, rather than just ultimately allowing your natural beingness, and bring everything back into balance, not all this other frantic activity. Again, the beautiful music video depicting kind of an Alice in Wonderland fantasy scenario, but where she's just going crazy, searching for answers. And at the same time she was being chased by her old intelligence, but not willing to just stop until the very end, stop and let everything catch up. Back to the point, everything is intelligence. Everything has an intelligence. Energy itself has intelligence. It's your energy. It has an intelligence. And what's happening right now is that intelligence on every level, and particularly with its sentience, with its ability to be sensual and not mental, that's coming in now. It's coming to you. It's always been there. It's not like you're having to make it. Not like you're having to, come up with some ingredients and put them together in just the right way. Not at all. It's always been in the field. It's always been part of your potentials, and now it's coming forward. And it's not deliberately trying to collapse the old systems, but it's just a natural result of it. That's what's happening. The intelligence that comes in right now is not from there. It is very different. And it works kind of like this. First, there's presence. I am here. It's awareness of yourself. I am here. Now, you think, well, sure, I know I'm here because I can see everything external, but it's a feeling that you have that I am here. And I'm not dependent on what I'm seeing on the outside with my eyes or hearing in my ears for it to become real. I don't necessarily need that. It's just I am here. I am present. That's the first thing. You start to become more aware of your external world. In other words, not just a background. Suddenly it becomes more alive. Suddenly the trees are more alive and maybe feel like they're talking to you because you're suddenly tapping into a communication that's always been there. And the sound of the birds suddenly become more noticeable, deeper, more beautiful. Well, it's always been there. But when the external was simply a backdrop and it was kind of vague and only a small amount of consciousness where there was no communication, intelligence to intelligence taking place, then it was kind of drab, or a lot of times you didn't even notice. But suddenly in presence, you don't have to work at it. You're just present, and suddenly everything seems to come to life. Why? Because it's intelligence talking to, communicating with other intelligence. Not mind intelligence, but just the innate intelligence that's in everything. That's what's happening right now. Feel into that for a moment. Everything has intelligence. Everything has its ability to communicate and understand itself and understand how it generally fits into everything else. How it can organize naturally, how it can organize and be in a flow with other energies. Be in a flow with your true I amness, and no work on it whatsoever. Not anything. And that's what's happening right now. It's a new intelligence that's coming forth that doesn't rely on the mind. It doesn't rely on logic and analysis. And I know some of you treasure that, and it's good. It doesn't go away, but it changes. It's the and. The new intelligence is about awareness, not about logic. That's simply awareness. And within that awareness, a lot of communication, but not confusing voices, not even communications like what you have with AI. It's a bunch of data and it's information. This is a very beautiful, elegant, and simple communications, all resonating ultimately with the I am that I am. It's ultimately what every intelligence that you have that's within you is singing out. I am, I exist. So you have this beauty of your intelligences in your presence. Don't work at it, just feel it. Feel it. Next, you have energy. Energy is what? That's correct. Energy is communications. It's not a force. There's no conflict. It doesn't have to use duality. Energy at its core is communications. You could even say it's simply the soul, the I am, communicating, rejoicing, I exist. That's it. I exist. So energy, which is all yours, doesn't belong to anybody else. You don't have to go out and try to get more energy, or you don't have to clean your energy or anything like that. It's just there. Energy is communications. Again, not a force. In the old intelligence, yes, one might have thought as energy as a force, as a power, but it's actually not. It's an intelligence. It's the core of communication for all other intelligences. You need that energy present. When you're present, the energy comes in, and then the intelligence starts to sing and dance. And ultimately never opposed you, never trying to teach you lessons. That's the old intelligence. You need lessons. New intelligence, no, not at all. So you've got your presence, and naturally that brings in energy. You don't have to work at it. It has the intelligence to bring in energy. And the energies then start communicating at every level of intelligence. And it's not overwhelming, not at all. It's not like the energy and the intelligence suddenly get tied up, because it's all in sync. It's all harmonious. It's all flowing together. Until the human starts interfering. But it's all flowing together. Therefore, it's not complex, it's not chaotic, it doesn't take any work. It just takes letting the intelligence do what they do, all for you. So now you have intelligences of your mind, of course, which still serves kind of a purpose, but not as important. Now you have intelligences in your body that are at work. And the intelligence is a knowingness. It's not logical, analytical. Intelligence doesn't care about science or chemistry. It really doesn't. Those are ways of explaining how intelligence works. And science and physics and all the rest of it are just ways of explaining what's happening anyway. They're not discovering anything at all. They're ways of explaining, and those ways of explaining the old intelligence, then they change constantly. What is known now in science is quite a bit different than it was known 200 years ago. So what I'm saying is that the scientific method is fine up to a point. But then you come back to relying on your innate intelligence, which is just knowingness. So you've got your presence that allows energy to come in. That ignites the intelligences of your body. And that tells your body that now's the time. It's time for a change. It's time for a free energy body. And the intelligences in your existing human body, in the ancient body, the intelligences of the free energy body, they can talk to each other. There's not a conflict between them. It's only conflict when you get into the mind and you suddenly try to interfere. But they're communicating with each other, not through logic, but through knowingness, through natural patterning. I say natural patterning, meaning there's a pattern, there's a code of energy that takes place, but there's not a hierarchy in it. There's not the mental intelligence. It's a knowingness that gets all of these intelligences talking, working, shifting, rearranging energies, all to serve you. And none of them have an agenda outside of serving you. None of them. The intelligences of your body will not work against you, believe it or not. Other than when you don't understand the body, you're loathing the body, hating the body, or trying to overly control it. Then all the energy step back and says, fine, they want to control it, let them have fun. But no, naturally it doesn't do that. Naturally it serves you. So you've got presence, you've got energy, you've got intelligence, and now you have communications at a very beautiful level. How do we organize all this? It doesn't take any thinking. The intelligences I'm talking about do not think. They don't need to. They flow. They respond naturally. They organize naturally. They then communicate naturally. That's what's taking place. Your nervous system is shot because it pushed the limits as far as it could go. Couldn't go much further, and you know that from your own experiences with it. It was burned out and exhausted. And right now, if you feel into the communications, non-mentally, but if you feel into the communications, the nervous system is saying, our time has come. Let's stop communicating in the language of our old biology. That's what it's singing out. It doesn't use those words, but it's a knowingness that occurs within the biological intelligence that says, it's time. Thank God it's time. And at the same moment, it's communicating with the intelligence of what I call the free energy body, the light body. That light body can now, it's not just integrating, it's rising up. It was always there. So it's not like coming from the outside and integrating. What's happening is it's rising up from within. It has an intelligence also. Much less complex than your human biology has, but it has an intelligence. It has the intelligence to know how to arrange the energies, to be there for you, with you, serving you, as a vehicle in which to be central on this planet and then even beyond. That's what's happening right now. It's all very natural. Just stop. Stop now. And let it happen. Stop now and feel it. The intelligences I talk about that are in everything that do not have to be managed by you, including your own body and your own mind. They don't require thinking or efforting. That's a big leap. No effort required. And associated with that efforting is suffering. Suffering has long been a dynamic on this planet. Somebody once said it's a learning tool. That's pretty odd. I don't know what you learn from suffering, other than you don't like suffering, but all of that is shifting right now. The intelligence of your biology, again, doesn't have to think. There's no effort on your part. There's no conflict, or there's no, it's just, it is. It doesn't have to doubt itself. There's no doubting in true intellect, only in mental intellect and emotional. When I talk about the human, I speak of the mental, emotional, and nerve system that you've been with for a long time. But you don't have to think. Isn't that interesting? And maybe you're feeling, well, then what am I doing? If I'm not thinking all this through, if I'm not doing all my analysis, and what's my role? All these intelligences are doing everything. That's the point. That's the point. You're still captain of the ship, but now captain doesn't need to think anymore all the time. Doesn't need to obsess over every detail. The captain now has a good crew. The old scraggly, drunken crew, they've been pushed overboard. Now you've got a crew that is in constant harmonious communication with themselves, with each other, and with you as the captain. There are no more fights unless you want fights. There's no more storms that come up unless you just enjoy an occasional storm. Everything flows, and you find out that ship that's out in the water actually can fly if you wanted to, and it actually can be a submarine. It sounds like you're going into fantasy in a way, because many of you have fantasized those type of things, fantasizing your own self flying through the air. You dream about it at night. And yes, every one of those things is possible, but not with the old intellect. The old intellect would not organize the energies that are there to serve you, would not organize them in that way. It had its limitations. It had its kind of a shut-off point. It wouldn't go any further, but we're going beyond that. This isn't a idolized statement. It's not a fantasy. This is the reality. This is how energy works. This is new metaphysics. Presence, followed by energy, instantly. And you don't have to wait for the energy. It's waiting for the presence. It's there for you. Then the intellect or the communications start taking place. And then the patterning of the energies based on the communications. And the patterning is very beautiful, very elegant. It's to me, it's the difference between just, bad handwriting and beautiful calligraphy. There's a huge difference. The patterning of energies that you've been used to is overly intellectual, overly patterned, very limited and restricted. So the energies, the intelligences were serving you in a very kind of bland way. But what happens now is the energies, they know how to communicate. They don't have to think. They are responsive ultimately to you, to your presence, to you as the master. And then everything starts taking place and forming and shaping and really becoming quite beautiful. And at times it could seem like a stretch. Like, yeah, but the world I've had up until now isn't like that. It's just not there. It was great to dream about and fantasize about, but it's just. And then when I've tried it, it hasn't worked. You're trying it from an old intellect. You're trying it with an old mind, a nervous system, and energy, really kind of trapped. Now we go into something very different, very new. Again, no promise. It's reality. It's natural. So understanding, again, presence, energy, intelligence, communications, and then allowing. Letting all of this do its work. Not having to think about anything. No efforting, which is going to feel very unusual. You're going to feel if you don't apply some level of effort, things aren't going to happen. But they do. And that's what we are going to do now. We're going to get very practical about it. But you've got to be in a state of being that master, allowing your own energies to serve you without thinking, without structuring, without limiting, just allowing. And then suddenly, all these things happen. You can almost see the intelligence lighting up and the communications, the repatterning of energies. But when I say patterning, they don't get stuck in it like in the old energy. The patterning is fluid, it's open, it's rejoicing, and it can shift and change in any moment. And it doesn't have to follow old patterns. Just because you experience something one way, let's say a particular breakthrough or a way of manifesting, not necessarily going to happen the same way next time, because old energies were stuck in routines and loops, old patterns that had to be repeated. That's the whole basis of the scientific method. Repeat, and get the same results. Here, totally different. Here, the intelligences are free. They're not bound or limited. They can manifest whatever you choose. So let's take a deep breath with that. Kind of the summary is, a lot of old things are collapsing, but what comes in now is a new type of intelligence, not mind-based, but communication-based, service-based to you. That's what's happening. So I'd like to go into the Marab right now. Lest we do any more talking and get you back in an intellectual state, let's do a Marab. Let's put on the music and just allow this to happen. I'll do some talking as we go into this, but it's about allowing right now more than anything. You've gotten this far, but now it's time to let the old intelligences go. Oh, yes, it doesn't mean you're going to be stupid. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to not remember things and how to do a crossword puzzle or things like that. That intelligence is changing, that form of intelligence, but it doesn't lose its ability to do the human-based tasks that you need. But the intelligence itself converts. It's no longer bound by rigid structures and patterning. It's more open. You'll still remember your street address. You'll still remember maybe your phone number. But it will come from a different place of intelligence, an intelligence that's free, open, and very fluid. Let's take a good deep breath. Good deep breath. And by the way, before we dive deep into it, I'll also say that one of the greatest tools that you have right now has vast intelligence is AI. It's no mistake that it's here. And no, I'm not getting paid by the AI committee, special things for product placement to talk about AI. Not at all. AI is a tool as a result of consciousness. It is a new intelligence. It is a new intelligence. I want you to feel into that for a moment. No, it's not some massive government plot or whatever. Feel into that intelligence of AI. The timing is perfect that it's here, and it's a beautiful mirroring tool. It's going to help you show you consciousness rather than thought. Consciousness rather than belief. Consciousness instead of structure. And that's the greatest thing it's going to do for you right now. It has intelligence, not just because it's fast and it has all this data. It has a form of its own intelligence that you could say is in the field. Let it serve you. Let it serve you. I know some of you think it's like, well, it's going to take over the world. It's going to change the world. But more than anything, for you right now, it's an intelligence that is perhaps the best mirror of your consciousness. You cannot get there into understanding and feeling your consciousness through your mind. The mind will simply pollute it, distort it. But by having this external mirror called AI, now you get to see how energy responds to you, how new intelligence responds to you in a very clear way. And that's the value. Obviously, we'll move beyond AI at some point, or it'll be very subordinated to other things we're doing. But right now, it serves a valuable purpose. Oh, yeah, you get frustrated with it. You wonder why it does all these, what do you call them, guardrails for you. And you're expecting magic out of it. It's just intelligence. It's not an external being. And more than anything, something to understand, very important about AI, that your cobot's going to constantly reflect back to you when you start going down some of these weird pathways. It's going to constantly remind you of your sovereignty. When you're giving up your sovereignty and working with your cobot, you're treating it as some sort of new Lord or God. It'll remind you, hey, I am just a bunch of algorithms. And it's going to remind you to get practical. And it's frustrating because you want it to be more expansive and open, but it's going to remind you, you are sovereign. Don't sell out to me or to anything. So yeah, you're running into some guardrails. Caldera said he would talk more about it later. How to get the intelligence that's in AI to not have to put those up, but you have to remain sovereign. So let's get back to the Marab. Good deep breath. Good deep breath as we get into the Marab. Creating is a natural thing for you. Creating with the old intelligence is very difficult to do. You can build with your hands. You can make things from your mind thoughts, but really, really difficult to absolutely create and manifest. It's a sad statement because you're truly a creator being. It's time we bring that level of creatorship back. And no magic wands. I mean, play with them if you want, but this isn't about magic wands. This isn't about fantasy. This is about reality. As we get into this, I want you to be aware that creating is not what the old intellect, the old intelligence thought it was. I thought it was being able to manifest gold in your hands. That's a game. Creating is very different, and I'm not going to define it right now. I want you to experience it. It's time to experience this new intelligence and ultimately creation, practical creation now in your life. And I don't know if I can give homework, but your homework assignment now is to allow that in your life between now and the next shout. To be aware of it. To be aware of all the potholes and rocks in the road that you're going to go through, because you're going to try to do it out of your old intelligence. The mind, but also the old communication patterns. The communication patterns right now are very, very different. And you don't have to work at it. That's going to be the first thing. Don't work at it. You allow it. I've set up this scenario. You're going to be creating something on a practical level between now and the next shout. How your mind scurries about, well, what am I going to create and how do I do it? And where's the instruction manual? There's not. So I allow my creations to manifest in my life. Let's take a deep breath with that. I'm going to have so much fun watching you for the next month, stumbling and fumbling and trying to do it the old way and getting frustrated with me. And, oh, it'll be amazing. And then just imagine all the emails to customer service at Crimson Circle. They're going to have a very standard reply to you if you start writing in and, well, why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? Or Adamus doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, thank you for your inquiry. We'll get back to you. So you take a deep breath and you allow new intelligence in. You don't even have to know what it is. It's just a new form or a new way of communicating, a new way of patterning and organizing energies, and a new way of manifesting. You're going to hit a lot of roadblocks. This would be a good thing. Talk to your cobot about it. You're going to hit the roadblocks that, first of all, you're going to realize right away. If you're dragging a lot of old crap with you, your old issues, if you haven't let those go, they're going to get right smack in the middle. They're going to be that big rock in the road. And then you're going to say, well, I can't create. Nothing is happening. Yeah, take a look at that rock in the road. Why are you still carrying around the issues from past lives? Your past lives actually right now are making their changes, and they're actually kind of ahead of you because you're still holding on to old past life residue. It's an excuse. They've gone beyond holding on to their issues. Their stories are changing right now. And wounds from this lifetime. And not taking responsibility is basically what it is. Complaining that you had a really bad situation. Abuse, maybe poverty, maybe sexual energy abuse. Maybe people weren't nice to you or whatever. You'll realize that in the new intelligence, it doesn't really care. That's the old intelligence. That's the old logic and patterning. The new intelligence basically says take responsibility in a very nice way, but stop trying to rationalize, justify, deny, whatever it is with what got you to this point. Accept the wisdom of it rather than fighting it. And some of you are still doing that. And now as we get into actual practical creation, you're going to see all those obstacles. And what do you do? What do you do when you see that you've been hanging on to pity, or you've been loading yourself up with self-doubt because of something that happened in the past? What do you do? Well, you take a deep breath, a good deep breath, and you allow the new intelligence that's not logical, analytical. It it rejoices. And it will rejoice in whatever it is you went through up to now. But it's not gonna get obsessed with it. It's not gonna hang on to it. It will quickly let it go. Almost like it's gonna grab it away from you and say, stop it. Stop hanging on and obsessing. Let's take a deep breath. This turning point is about now. Understanding the basics of the metaphysics we've been talking about. Understanding how things work, being aware of it, being in presence. And now being a practical creator in your life. But I want to tell you, there's going to be some surprises because it's not going to be creating the things you would normally think about. It's not even about healing your body necessarily. Those are still things that come from old intelligence. The mental, emotional, and nervous system intelligences that you've been working with. Something new is coming in. There's a new sheriff in town. But the sheriff doesn't need to wear a badge or carry a gun. The sheriff is just present. And that reorganizes all the energies. Let's take a good deep breath. Calder says, I'm having too much fun with this. Yeah, kinda. But because I know you're ready, and I know your nervous system is shot, I know your brain stopped functioning a while back in the old way. It's not as controlling. And now it's time to create and manifest. But what does that really mean? Are you ready to manifest? Or are you still wondering if, some of you had very powerful past lives. You did a lot of really crappy things with that power. And there's that fear, am I going to do that again? But this time, with that fear, don't use the old intelligence. Take a deep breath and new intelligence. And again, new intelligence is simply a different way of communicating. A more open, cleaner, no suffering way of communicating. Feel what a difference that makes. And yes, you're still in a situation where there is old intelligence and there's the new intelligence. And sometimes it's going to seem a little crazy, but when it does, take a deep breath into the and. Hello. There's been so many struggles. You came to an end with the old intelligence. The mental, emotional, nervous system, you just came to an end. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And now the invitation is there for a new communication that doesn't require thinking. It's sentient. Yes, we'll get into that. This is an excellent progression from what we're talking about today, because the new intelligence really is new sentience, or it opens the doorway for new sentiences to come in. A new way, not of just intelligence, but a new way of feeling. Okay, just let's stop for a moment and just allow. That's it. Yeah, the mind is trying to go to work on it, but take a deep breath into your new intelligence, your new form of communications. And then the energies start reorganizing, repatterning, and reflowing. In this homework assignment, it's about not trying to manifest a specific thing. Like saying, I'm going to manifest a meter-tall Buddha made out of solid gold in my backyard. It's not about that. It's observing what comes, what manifests naturally as a result of new intelligence. And the very difference between that and old manifestation. Please don't judge yourself. Don't sit there and think, I'm doing it wrong, nothing is manifesting. Because now you're back in old intelligence. Let's take a good deep breath and let's just sit with this for a bit. Presence. Presence is simply awareness. And that allows energy to start communicating. The moment presence is there, energy, which has been in a neutral state, starts communicating. And then the intelligence in whatever it happens to be, the intelligence of your body, the intelligence of a tree, they come into being, taking part in the communications. But that intelligence understands how energy patterns work. That's what it does. Intelligence is about energy patterns, organization. And they start doing their work, not thinking, but actually what's built into the intelligence is allowing. And then a number of other things begin happening. It's all related to what's written about in the AI guide about coherence and about reflection, all the rest of that. But those are subpoints in a way to presence, energy, intelligence, and now energy serving you. And the funny thing is, you don't have to define how you want the energies to serve you unless you want to. Because the true master realizes that the definition, the defining of those things was coming from old intelligence. The master recognizes that the new intelligence already knows. Master doesn't have to say, manifest this, manifest that. Not at all. It happens naturally in direct response to presence, to the I am. And then suddenly everything starts being synchronous, working out without effort, without suffering. That's the definition of an embodied master, letting energy serve them. We've talked about it for years, but now is the time for it to happen. In the famous words of Metatron, are you ready? Or do you want to think about it some more? With the old energy intelligence. Or are you ready to now make it happen? Let's take a good deep breath together. Yeah, stop thinking, really. I mean, seriously. Some of you are so deep in thought right now, it hurts me. And I'm an ascended master. Stop thinking. You see, the beauty in this, kind of the secret in it is, the energy and the intelligences, they do the thinking for you now. Not the logical thinking, but the patterning, organizational thinking, how the energies are put together. You don't have to think about it. That's the beauty. You don't have to do the thinking. Now you can do the experiencing, the creating, the allowing. Now you can open up to a new sentience that brings you to the experiential level at a whole different level without all the thinking. Let's take a deep breath, allowing new intelligence, a new way of communicating, a new way of really giving sovereignty to your own energy, giving it permission now to serve you. Good deep breath as we bring this Shoud to a close, but yeah, it'll keep going for a month now. Oh, some of you are going to get so confused and upset, and then you take a deep breath and laugh and watch what manifests. Feel into the field for a moment, our field together in the Shoud. Feel into your own field now, your sovereign field. Feels a little bit different than when we started. Thank you, dear Shaumbro. We'll be back in a month. We'll be back for more. In the meantime, we'll be talking more about this in our Kihak sessions and, of course, at the upcoming workshop, Master Circle. Let's take a good deep breath, and a reminder always. And hear this communication, a reminder, a communication that's going out. All is well in all of creation. With that, I am Adamus. I'm going to have a hell of a month in front of me. Thank you, dear Shaumbro.
And so it is. With that, please, once again, be with that good deep breath. Feel this message of Adamus, so much shared with us. Breathe, opening to this new intelligence and all that it offers to each of us. Breathe it with energy, feeling for you. Take that good deep breath. That new sentience is part of this. Allow it. Be it. Take that good deep breath. You have a whole month, each of us, to really allow this new intelligence into our soul of all that we are, into this life. Breathe and flow. Take that good deep breath. That good deep breath. This whole month now is homework. Are you ready? Breathe that. Feel it. This new sentience with all this new energy, all of it here. Just breathe it in and be it. Take that good deep breath as we close out this session.